Can you speak about the I am practice? Are you sometimes a person? I used to really dislike that question. Like, are you always there? Are you sometimes a person? Because, like, in this moment, there is no person. So in this moment, there is just freedom. There's just what's happening. And then we have this character, which we go into in time. And the way we go into that character is through thinking about that character. So through thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, or go to the hairdresser, or go and have food with your friends, or doing work. And that's when you think about the character. So that's when the character is present. And then when you stop thinking about the character, there's presence and there's everything. And that everything and the character can be there at the same time. There can be an intimacy with everything, and there can be an appearance of a character. It's not one or the other. What seems to collapse at some point is this seeking energy, which holds that I am presence inside the body and pulls it inside the body and keeps it inside the body. And the end of that really doesn't look like anything. For me, it was quite a big shift, and it did change my conditioning to an extent. But on the character level, like, I still run in the same patterns of Lisa, like the same patterns of being, the same likes, the same passions. There was a change in her on the character level. Like, she's a lot more balanced, I would say, but she's still a character. Like, I still get annoyed about things, happy about things, like things, don't like things, get sad about things. But this is what characters do. I think as after that shift, and as you, when that shift happens and it's seen that consciousness and presence is everywhere and everything, and that sort of energy shifts over, then the person lines up more with that. So I have noticed that my external life has lined up more with how it feels internally, and my internal views seem to line up more, but not all the time. Like, I can be grumpy after a hard day of work, or lots of different stressful situations. Like, the character is the character. What you like to think of when you're seeking is an absolute point, but all of these are brain patterns. So we like to think of something starting and ending. So we like to think of life that we're born and then we die. And because as humans we think in that pattern, we like to think of everything like that, that we do a job and then we complete a job. And that gives us lots of feelings of worth and satisfaction. So we like to look at meditation like that, like this line, this energetic shift. And sometimes that energetic shift for some people seems like a gradual thing. And most probably it was a gradual thing for me, but it just came with a big bang at the end. And it's like a dissolving more and more, or an expanding. Like, it's different for everybody, and who knows, like, maybe there is on the human level no, on the human level there is still, for me personally, like, it still feels like my person can expand, and I don't think that will end. Like, it still feels like my thought processes can expand more to be in line with non-duality. So it feels like I could be more positive. I'm a fairly positive person anyway, but be more positive and be less certain about some things. Like, be more open to this magical way that life works. Like, sometimes, like, we think that things work in a certain way, but really we don't know how they work, and it's really quite mysterious. And I think that, like, being to invested in a certain idea kind of in a way perpetuates that idea. So if you believe that money only comes from hard work, this is just an example, then more than likely that's the way that money will come. But say if you open up your mind to money coming in other ways and like really give up that idea, then I believe money can come in other ways. And I think that you can do that with everything, and I think that's more in line with reality. Like you can, it's almost like the more that you dare on the human level to go down this rabbit hole, the more craziness and possibilities that can open up in this world. Like if you really don't believe that you'll ever be on the moon, more than likely you'll never go to the moon. If you really believe that one day you'll go to the moon, then more than likely that will happen. Could be that it doesn't. So I feel like for me on the human level, my character can open up to more and more wonder and mystery, like on my thought processes. So we've got this brain here, and we've got a pattern, and this pattern starts from our parents and our society, and we learn to think certain things. So we learn all this information, and there's this consciousness looking through, this consciousness which looks through and projects what this brain thinks and sees and experiences. So our brain is projecting all this world. There isn't actually a solid world out there. There is the projection of what our brain thinks. At some point, like the brain can open up to more and more possibilities and become more and more relaxed, and at some point it's seen that who you truly are is experiencing as presence, like is this, and that there is this mystery looking out. Like at some point there is a relaxation that happens enough, like this person relaxes into itself and stops seeking and stops being obsessed with what it thinks it knows, and then another possibility presents itself. But the person's still got its patterns and it's still got its ways of thinking. And I think after that shift happened, then there is always the potential to expand your ideas more and more, and the more that other people expand their ideas, the more they will expand your ideas. Like there's many things that are happening in this world that we've not named yet as humans, and so as somebody does invent them and think of them, then it begins to go into your consciousness and you open up to more possibilities. So that can always expand, and my habits and my conditioning can expand, my way of being can expand, but also you can have your typical responses. Like I have typical responses, but I'm also open to not having typical responses. Really the best way to speak about it, even though this isn't it, is most probably to speak about it as if there's never a line. But if you don't speak about it as if there's never a line of before and after, then you can't make the difference between the awakening not being personal and being personal. That's really important, to see that awakening isn't personal, that this body contracts and believes that it's a separate entity, and then something happens and boom, it's seen that that's not who you are, that you're always this still presence right here, right now in this. So I don't know if that what that did.